right. Are you forgetting that some of those cases, the FCC lost those cases?
Yes, they lost.
The court said they had nothing to prove.
They lost. They lost the cases because, again, when you are going to the court, you are taking a judge to the court. Don't forget that. And a judge will have to sentence that judge. So
if there's any evidence,
yes, evidence
beyond reasonable doubt,
beyond reasonable doubt,
which the court at the time said
you only need to prove that
it
in capital crimes, beyond reasonable doubt. Because if it's a civil action, it does not require beyond reasonable doubt. You must just be able to prove. When you see money moving in this country today, electronic banking has improved a lot. When you see money moving from one account to the other, you can trace it.
Is the APC going to be giving Nigerians excuses why they didn't deliver or why they overpromised?
No, it's not about excuses. It's about the fact that democracy itself is a very complex system.
Yeah, and Nigeria, the party knew that when they were.
Of course, they knew, and they are working towards achieving everything they promised. Look at the committee that they just set up for restructuring to review what is going on in the country.
Do you think they can achieve in terms of providing 3 million jobs?
Well, I believe
in 2018, can the party do that?
By September, they would have done 500,000 on the N-Power, the N-Head, the N-Agric, all those ones.
You mean with the
now,
cooks?
Yes. Now, not even the cooks. It's a different kind of sector. They only have about 30 point something thousand people employed for feeding. And it's only in 14 states. Now, by the time they cover the 36 states, look at, just imagine the kind of numbers that we'll be talking about. Because in 14 states out of 36, we have not gotten to half.
I did ask you the question that the wooing drums of the PDP is really sounding now. How are you going to prevent your members who were initially PDP members who moved to the APC? How do you ensure keeping them in the APC?
Well, again, those who have a reason to come to APC, I believe a larger percentage of them, over 90%, will remain there. There is no time. People are moving from PDP to APC. Now people are now moving from APC to PDP because of the fact that, if the publicity, if the public relations is not properly handled by the APC, and
is it about the public relations
or
internal democracy?
It's actually the public relations. People going out talking about what they are doing. Let people see these things. It's not, I don't think it's that bad. I was in the PDP government, but I never knew the kind of stuff that I'm reading in the papers now. I mean, it's salient to me. For me, when you look at it, I'm in the APC, and I would be running for an election based on my own personal antecedents. So there are people in the APC, look at the president, look at the vice president, look at those two people, look at their character, look at the kind of integrity they brought to government. And I believe these things need to be grown. It's not a thing that will happen overnight. But if we continue to, these people in 2 years have not done this, now we're moving back.
Your party, according to the Minister for Finance, did say that that budget, 2017 budget, will be financed through borrowings. And then at some point, it wasn't supposed to be borrowings again, but taxes. And then it changed from taxes back to borrowing. Do you have an idea of how to run an economy such as Nigeria?
Oh, come on, face. When you look at taxes, it's based on projections. You look at it, how much money can I put on the table this year? Look at what FRS has done. In about 1 year, they've added more than 4 million people to their database of people paying taxes in this country. They've moved from around 10 million to 14 point something million. Now, you look at people, people are beginning to look at their responsibility they are paying. And based on that projection, the Minister of Finance can look at it, okay, this year, can we make this much? How much can we make from the customs? These are estimates. Now, if in our own judgment, initially when this budget was being prepared, and she now feels that, okay, where do we get this money to finance this deficit budget. We need to borrow. All these are legal ways of running an economy. So if either they are borrowing or they are using taxes, as long as they're able to fund the budget, we're okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
We don't even have time to talk about those who were found to have altered the budget in the first instance, because what the APC did, or the president did at the time, was just transfer them. And they thought, what? The government that promises stiff measures? But you know, what would you then say to those who think, look, come to think of it, I've looked at the PDP, looked at APC, there's no difference. They're all the same thing, telling Nigerians different things. It's just about who gets what when they get to the center.
Well, again, the issue of who gets what, or what do I get?
That's for politicians.
Yeah, what do I get from government, or what do I get from position, is still playing a major role in Nigerian politics. But when you now look at it,
including in your party, the APC,
it's, of course, there are people who are there for what they can get out of it. There's no question about that. But that cannot be an ideology for a nation that wants to progress. Now, when you look at it, that we have, initially, we used to point to the head and say, oh, the head is this, the head is that. But now, we have two people at the helm of affairs. Why don't we allow them to do some work?
Do you think the APC can successfully restructure Nigeria?
Well, I believe I can say yes. Because the reason why I can say yes is once the president buys into it, he has a lot of respect. Most of the problem that we're having,
he hasn't.
I don't know. I don't discuss with him. But it's not really hard time. It wasn't around when all this trouble started.
Do you think you have a chance in Ekiti State, having seen what happened in Osun State with the senatorial elections?
Well, let me say, I had mentioned that the governor in Osun took a very bad risk, because it was clear that Senator Adeleke is a household name in Osun, and he has a lot of political followers. And the Adeleke name, again, is maintained a level for them. So he came with that name to win. It wasn't based on party. And I know that if he had run in APC, he would have won massively.
It didn't matter any party he ran?
No, it didn't matter, because of the situation that happened and the fact that late Adeleke was a phenomenon. No, sure. There's no question about that. But when you now look at the situation in Ekiti, it is the name. It's going to be the individual. If the APC gets their candidate right, there is no way, there's no chance for PDP in Ekiti. That is it. Because, I mean, when you look at it, what are the... Fayoshe is not coming back to government. He's not running. So, I don't know how he will be able to defeat an APC candidate.
All right.
Particularly if the election is free and fair.
Okay. We'll watch this space and see how it turns out. Senator Ayarishi, former chairman, Senate Committee on Privatization, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
We're back in a moment. Don't go away.